Uh, Good morning, everyone. Today is 1st July 2020. Unlock 2.0 has just begun, and a lot of hopes have started, crossing our minds. That I hope things start getting normal as soon as possible, as early as possible. Welcome to India's first virtually the biggest virtual conference AI powered India's Admission Hunt 2020. This event is envisaged with a very careful thought that during these uncertain times, how students are actually going to make their choices. Their ideas are disrupted, their typical plans are disrupted. So they have to deal with a lot of issues at the same time. While there is a tremendous change in the way learnings are getting imparted, there is a requirement to see how the way learnings are getting impacted, and more and more discussions are shaping up around how the future of education in different streams looks like. While our management session gave us a lot of hopes and there was a comfort and ease that management education still can easily be done in the given blended environments. But if you ask me, there is tremendous challenges in front of technical education, the labs, the kind of projects, the kind of research that used to happen in the academic environment. I'm not sure how that is going to shape up right now. In order to actually demystify all this, we have a very eminent panel today to talk about the changes that are expected, the ways universities and colleges are coping up with the upcoming challenges ahead of them. I take this privilege to welcome the panel. We have with us Professor Rajiv Kumar, Member Secretary AICTE. Welcome, sir. We have with us Commander V.K. Jetli, a popular author and speaker, past president, IIT Kharagpur Alumni Association with us. Thank you so much for joining in, sir. We have with us Dr. S.Y. Kulkarni, Director of BNMIT. I'm privileged to have him with us. He has been on ASMA's board since the beginning of the mission ASMA. We have with us Dr. Jawahar Suri Shetty from Rungta Group of Institutions in Bhilai, one of the most prominent institution of Central India. We have Dr. Ashish Manohar, Pro Vice Chancellor from Mangalayatan University, Aligarh, one of the most progressive universities in the northern side of the country. Then Professor Anand Bhalerao from the popular Bharati Vidyapeeth University College of Engineering, Pune. So we have a very eminent guest with us, and we are looking forward to very interesting deliberations to happen, which will help both parents and students and academicians understand what's lying ahead in front of us with respect to the scope of engineering education post-COVID 2019. Let me welcome all my sponsors.
We cannot understand anything. There are two keys.
Chandan, will you please take over?
Chandan sir, please unmute yourself.
Yeah, I just unmuted. I hope I'm audible now.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Yeah, very good morning to everybody today, all the attendees today, all our eminent speakers, and I thank our all the partners to name from the government supporting partners, Government of Telangana, Government of Nagaland, our supporting partner AIU, and it is also been supported by the eminent apex bodies of education, let it be CBSE, NCRT, and even AICT. The inaugural of the session started with the chairman, sir, and today we have Honorable Secretary from AICT. So we welcome you in today's event. Yes, so let me just introduce our guest of honor for today is Professor Rajiv Kumar. He's the member secretary of AICT and holds an ME in computer technology and application from Delhi College of Engineering. He also has a PhD from IIT Delhi. In 1990, he joined DCR University of Science and Technology, Haryana. His areas of research interest are mathematical computing, software engineering, and image processing. Professor Kumar is also an author of numerous research papers in national and international journals and presented papers in India and abroad. So we welcome you in today's panel of where we are talking about the career and admission counseling process and how we are trying to connect the global communities of students and academia, where in the during lockdown and post lockdown, where still the doors of the institutes are closed, and the students and parents are quite looking for the opportunities how they can collaborate with the counselors and the institutes at large. So we are live with the career opportunities and options in engineering post-COVID pandemic. And the session topic themes would be new branches in engineering to pursue and top in demand engineering jobs in India. Professor Rajiv Kumar, sir, can you please throw some light on the perspective of engineering in the scenario of COVID and post-COVID, sir?
Okay. So good morning to each and everyone. First of all, thank you very much for inviting me for this webinar, prospects during this COVID-19 in engineering. You know that this problem, India encountered this problem in the month of March, and we have to continue with all our teaching assignments and all these things. Our teachers adopted all these technologies in very short of time. Now, every problem, whether it's a small problem or a big problem, comes with opportunities also. So I think, and we at AICT think this problem in terms of opportunities. There are so many opportunities as far as this epidemic is concerned for the academicians and the developers also, and the software persons also. If you see, during this COVID period, we could develop so many Indian platforms where teaching can be imparted to our students. And the teachers were not aware about the tools of the software, learning tools of the software tools, those who have not used the computer in their whole lifespan, they could deliver the lectures through online media. So that was the great thing as far as our teaching community and society is concerned. Everybody is now listening, every student is listening, attending the lectures through online mode, but there are some issues and challenges also. First and foremost challenges is the connectivity. As we see today, we all are using technology. We took 15 minutes or 20 minutes to settle down the things because we have, even though we have internet, we have best systems at our end, but it took 15 minutes to settle ourselves. Now, these problems and challenges are there with the students, those who are staying in difficult areas, difficult terrains, in villages, remote villages. Now, what we have thought for this, we are as a regulator and a government side, we took this at our level and how we do things at the village level or at the difficult terrain. That is the point of discussion and action at the government level also. Now, what we have thought, we have asked our colleges, we have around 10,500 colleges across India, that is, and they are having all these colleges, they are having good connectivity, good bandwidth, because we have some limitations, we have some requirement to give approval to such colleges that you must have this much bandwidth in your college. Now we are requesting our colleges, please provide such facilities to nearby students, whether they are from your college or they are not from your college. This is the one initiative we have taken, we have requested, we have written to all our colleges. We are doing such webinars, we are again requesting everywhere and every college, please provide the facilities to our students, nearby communities, so that the students, whether they are the students, the college students, engineering students, they can avail the internet facilities. They cannot be provided overnight in villages, but wherever they have the facility, it can be utilized optimally. This is the need of the hour, need of the situation also. Another thing we have requested our panchayat, gram panchayat, is create a hub, and our government is supporting. We are taking plan to provide. They are creating hubs, and that hub will act as a nodal point, and either students they can come to that point, or they can provide some local area network of panchayats can do something in that area. Then this thing is being worked out at the government also. So everything is being done at the government level, providing the connectivity to the student. We have also started an initiative in all houses. We have extra computers, extra mobiles, because 3 years mostly people staying in the urban area and cities, they are changing their devices. So we are requesting people to donate these devices to the students, those who need it. This initiative we have also started from the EIC or the government, and many more things. I have seen the government has blocked and conducting hackathons to develop apps. Yesterday we got instructions from the ministry that you please conduct how you can develop similar type of apps and to conduct hackathon. So we are planning on that. Similarly, we are planning drug discovery hackathon also, and that is being launched by our honorable Minister of HRD and the Minister of Health on 2nd of July. And AICT and CSIR is conducting that hackathon. We are involving students in all areas, like that is relevant to this pandemic problem, whether it is drugs, whether it is developing of new tools, apps, softwares. So we are bringing our students aware of the government policies, helping them, cooperating them, and facilitating them. So this is the being done at the government level, apart from our usual activities. One example I will share that previously our all visits they were conducted by the teams visiting to the college physically. Now we have converted all these visits we have conducted online in AICT. So that is the innovation that this problem gives to regulators. No physical was conducted in AICT this time. All meetings of whether it is we are conducting around thousands of meetings during this approval process. Not even a single meeting was conducted physically. All meetings they were conducted online mode. We use this Microsoft team for this purpose. We make certain, we requested them and they made certain changes, customize that as per our requirement. And we are using this also building is not only reducing the cost, but the transparency is being ensured through all such initiatives. So this is the best has been done from the AICT side. But in every department, every institution, every organization, they have innovated their own way, and they are successful. I can say they are successful in doing all such things. So these were the opportunities. Now we have to think beyond pandemic also, and we have to think how we can bring our brain. Previously, which we call the brain drain. Now we have the visa problem with the USA also. USA is not permitting students; they are not permitting visa. Now this is an opportunity to us. Can open all these entrepreneurs, startups. There are so many startups. They are coming this time. We are facilitating startups. We are not only facilitating, we are funding some of the good ideas selected by a committee through AICT also. And these are the big initiatives we have taken during this COVID time. I hope our institutions, our society, our students, they will not think this is a difficult time. They will take it as an opportunity, and we will come out from the pandemic, and we will do some meaningful work, and that will be helpful to our nation, society, and whole world. Now, as far as AICT is concerned, For the management people, we have so many schemes. Last year, we announced one research development scheme purely for the management institutions. We have so many schemes for the engineering institution, but there was no scheme for the management, exclusive scheme for the management institutions. So we came out with a research scheme for the management institutions. I request through this medium, through this webinar, please take help, please apply to this AICTE scheme and get maximum benefit so that students and the faculty can be benefited from these several schemes for poor students. We are coming out shortly with the scheme for the poor boys also. Those who are below poverty line, we are providing them fees and the contingency grant of 20,000 per annum also. So there are so many initiatives. Only thing is that we request you please bring all these schemes to the notice of your students, your faculty, so that they can take the maximum benefit out of such schemes. With all these words, because I have another meeting, it's 11:30. I think it is 25 already. It is 25. I have to stop here. But I hope this webinar, this conference will deliberate on such issues, and some meaningful outcome will be there that will be helpful to the region. All this work. Thank you very much for inviting me. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you so much, Rajiv Kumar sir. So it was lovely listening to you, but I guess there could be some technical glitches from the system side maybe, and hence the sentence was clear, but it was breaking in between. But definitely a very insightful thought to it, and all the educational institutes, specifically the engineering and technical institutes, those who have listened patiently and to whom the voice was pretty clear, they would definitely follow the guidelines and certain initiatives which AICTE is taking in this direction. And I'm sure the kind of the leadership team which we have in AICTE right now, including Sahasbudhe sir, Punya sir, and you, are definitely making a huge difference. And the gap which was there earlier, we are not seeing that. The doors are quite open. People are very easily accessible to the AICTE's norms, and they are following it with great responsibility to it. And it was definitely a very insightful thought, sir. This was the third day of India's admission hunt, with the inaugural, then the opportunities in management, now the opportunities in engineering courses. And we'll be continuing with some other opportunities and different subjects. To take this forward, I would thank you, Rajiv sir, for scheduling your time today and giving your valuable thoughts to the panel and the audience today. To take this forward now, I would like to invite the moderator of the session today, Commander Mr. V.K. Jetli ji. He's an author and speaker and past president from IIT Kharagpur Alumni Association. And along with it, we have a lovely panel representing the higher education engineering fraternity. To name the panelists is Dr. Ashish Manohar. He's the Pro Vice Chancellor from Mangalatayan University. Dr. S.Y. Kulkarni, Director, BNMIT. Dr. Jawahar Suryasetti, he's the Executive Director, UNCTA Group of Institute. Professor Anand Bhaleraoji, he is the Principal and Dean from Bharati Vidyapit University, College of Engineering. So welcome all the panelists in today's session, and over to you, Mr. Jetli sir. You can take this session forward, sir. Jetli sir, please unmute yourself.
Yes, thank you very much, Chandan, for inviting me. Thanks to Asma, thanks to Rahul Jain, and thanks to Professor Rajiv Kumarji for setting the tone. In fact, he has already set the tone, and he has told a large number of schemes which are being has been started by AICTE. It's really good to know that AICTE is doing a great job in helping all the colleges and the universities. Now we have with us the panelists, Dr. Ashish Manoharji, Dr. S.Y. Kulkarni, Dr. Jawahar Suryasetti, and Professor Anand Bhaleraoji. So thank you very much, gentlemen. And let me just tell you, this COVID-19 chaos continues. In fact, the flattening of the curve has not started yet. We were hoping it would start. School, colleges, cinema halls, and everything is closed since March end, wherever the good number of people have to assemble. In colleges, universities, no admissions, no entrance tests, no exams. And economy is also going down. The poor man, middle class, those are the people who are suffering a bit more. Now, how long this lockdown can continue? That's why we started unlocking phase 1, and today the unlocking phase 2 starts. But educational institutes, because there are a large number of students and teachers together, there are no chances of opening them, minimum according to me for next 2 months at least. Now, when such things happen, such pandemic happens, they say survival becomes the biggest aim, biggest challenge. And today, I think for all of us, I'm sure all those who are here, majority of you are above, except the students who are attending, and maybe some young faculty also. Good number of people are above 60. They have to take a little bit more precautions. Today, it's not only India which is suffering, the whole humanity is suffering. And why it is suffering? Each one of us must learn a lesson. I'm sure somebody's negligence at Wuhan. If that negligence was not there, this pandemic wouldn't happen at this magnanimity all over the world. So learn this big lesson. If there is a problem, raise an alarm immediately. Don't try to hide it at any stage. And we are happy that India had a leadership which took very, very appropriate actions at the right moment. That is the reason, if you see our death rate is almost the minimum in all over the world. India is in a much better position. Though our numbers are increasing every day, but imagine if those strict control and strict curfew type of thing was not there in the beginning, our number of casualties would have gone in lakhs. Our infrastructure, our health infrastructure, medical infrastructure is much, much less level compared to countries like US, Italy, UK, and all those countries who have suffered much more. So we should feel lucky. And whenever such things happen, such crisis happens, there are people, there are human beings who create miracles also. Now just imagine the day this thing started in India, we had just one testing lab for COVID-19, and that too was in Pune only. Only one. And today, how many of them are there? 1,000 plus. Within how many months? Just 3 months, or maybe 4 months, you can say that. Just see the speed with which people are working. And this is a great opportunity, not only for the doctors, for the engineers also. Because every testing kit has got a lot of electronics, a lot of software, a lot of artificial intelligence. So many new hospitals, they have come up during this period only. So many quarantine centers. Even the assembly or the making of hospital beds and all the other infrastructure is the job of the engineers. We were not making any PPEs, personal protection equipment. Today we are making probably more than 3 lakhs PPEs per day. And there was hardly anybody who was making N95 masks and all that. That also, around 3 lakhs per day are being made. The advent of the robotics for serving various things to the patients are being made in different hospitals. They have come up. Even our households, because the maid servants are not allowed, people started brooming themselves and doing pocha themselves. So people started searching for those robotic cleaners, vacuum cleaners and mopping. And their business has, increased a lot. Most of them are still being imported. There's a great opportunity for the students, for the startups. So start making those vacuum cleaners for the house, the robotic vacuum cleaners and the mopping things. Just look at Google and I tell you it's a very, very simple device. It's not a very difficult one. There's a need of hundreds of them they can start making in India. Similarly, sanitization zones are being made. You just pass through and some spray happens, you get sanitized. So all these things are engineering requirements. They are big opportunities. So they say every challenge, whenever it happens, it comes with a lot of opportunities also. So that is, I thought I should tell a bit about the opportunities. And another big thing, because of these online things, which we have been hesitating for quite some times, whether to go online or not to go online. Now we have been forced to go online. And by getting forced, see how beautifully we are conducting these online webinars, online conferences, beautifully. And it has got a great plus point. Today, we have got 23 IITs, so many of NITs, so many private colleges. Suppose you come to know there's a great professor in IIT Bombay or IIT Kharagpur, and today is his lecture on so-and-so topic. Engineering students from all over India, they can just log on and listen to that professor. And if not live, because the number of things may be not possible, but then his recorded lesson, any student anywhere can retrieve it at any time at his convenience. So even a student staying in a remote village will be able to listen to that great professor. So these are the things which we have gained during this COVID. And I'm very, very optimistic, let me tell you. Post-COVID-19, India has the greatest opportunities with many industry all over the world, not many people all over the world who are fed up with China, and they are shifting industry from China, and India is one of the greatest destination. So I'm very much optimistic that the future is very, very good for the Indian engineering students. Now, without taking any advice, I would like to leave the floor open one after the other, our four great panelists. So my request will be, gentlemen, that each one of you, 10 minutes, each one of you, and after that, I will ask you some questions. And then if some questions come from the audience who was listening to us, those questions will also be put to you through me. So may I request Dr. Ashish Manohar ji to start with? And after that, we will have, I think, Dr. Sir Anand. So we start with Dr. Ashish Manohar, Pro Vice Chancellor, Mangalayatan University. He is almost our neighbor. I am sitting in Delhi and he is sitting nearby in Aligarh. So, sir, the floor is for you. Dr. Ashish Manohar.
Ashish sir, please unmute yourself and your video, sir.
Video is visible, sir. Only unmute yourself.
Sir, Ashish sir, you have been called, sir. Unmute yourself, sir. No problem. He's joining, sir.
Can we go to the other speaker if he is having some problem?
Let's do that because I spoke to him and
yeah. Dr. Kulkarni, are you there?
Sir, I have started speaking. Hello. Am I audible there?
Okay, fine, cool. Yeah, you are audible. Yes, please. Yes. Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. And this is about the employability of engineers. I shall directly come to the point. I hope everybody knows that on 26th and 28th of June, there was a big news that America has taken decision not to hire for degrees, but to hire for skills first. Then there was also a decision of UGC that students can go for 2 simultaneous degrees parallelly at a time. Okay. Then there are many institutions and organizations, top universities in the world, Harvard, MIT, to IITs, IIMs, they have started, giving free online certifications, and there are project management institutes who are giving even the licenses after appearing for the examination, after conducting the test and all those learning online. Okay, and then there is a COVID-19. I mean, we are in a situation where they always call it as a VUCA. VUCA is VUCA. V is vulnerability, U is uncertainty, C is complexity, and A is ambiguity. Now, because what is after this? So people are facing those problems. So my suggestion over here is that you have to invest your time than waste your time. Because if he is a mechanical engineer, then he has to go to places, get the training for CNC, get all the kinds of feature software, AutoCAD and CAD and all those things. You go and learn them, see the implementation, CAM, AutoCAD and CAM. Go and see the implementation, try and learn a lot of things, because now a lot of new technologies are coming. IoT, IIoT. IoT is Internet of Things. IoT is Industrial Internet of Things. Artificial intelligence. You should know about robotics, because I know a university which offers a degree of mechanical engineering with biology and genetics as a subject. Why? When I ask them, sir, if they don't know biology, they cannot be able to produce a prosthetic hand, a robotic hand. I was convinced, and then I helped them. Okay, then there are few more things. What employers expect? Employers who hire you expect that they want the ready-made candidate. He should be a job ready on day one. So how to become job ready on day one? Here the institutions will have to evolve and exalt. I always say this, because institutions will no more the institution where they are providing rote education and degrees to the students. Students also will not be left who are just pursuing studies to get just a degree. They will have to evolve and learn, because in online education you have to be yourself learning for yourself. There will be nobody to control you in the class. You should have urge to surge, to go ahead, and that kind of thing is expected, especially during COVID-19. Now imagine if you are learning so many degrees, so many certifications at the same time you are getting the degree, and you have the skills that day one you go and do the job, then why not anybody will hire you? Then I have a few more suggestions to the new generation. Why can't engineers from different professions come together and start a startup, as sir said? During COVID-19, India was the only country which had a lot of more than 8,000 startups. And there, I hope everybody knows that 2011, Denmark was the only country where within 8 minutes you can start the startup and the government is to support. So in India, if we have the startup system coming up, we'll have to build the ecosystem, the environment to support it. Even financier, venture capital should have to come and support them, mentor them, so that it becomes, successful for us. We'll have to go for vocal for local, as Modi ji said. In fact, my PhD is in indigenization, and I have said that, and I talked to Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. When I said that I'm pursuing PhD before getting PhD, and my claim over here is that if all the 200 at that time 187 countries were there as a United Nations member. So I said if 200 countries are there and each country goes, become a self-dependent on all the fronts, right from manufacturing technology to local designing to so many everythings. And if they possess, if they possess the space shuttle, then we'll have 200 distinct technologies to go to Moon, Mars, and so many places. And it may happen that in 25 years, we may break the light barrier. So he agreed, and at night 10:23, imagine night 10:23 in June, he sent me all the best for PhD and email to me. Then he sent the letter as well. I mean, you have to be not only passionate for whatever you do, you have to be obsessed for whatever you do. And if you are so much skillful that job will run after you and not you will have to search for a job. That also is a case you will have to develop among yourselves. It is always desirable that you should do the job that you love. Now, apart from that, there are so many reports that are coming. How will be the industry look after COVID 2019? And there are more questions raised than answers are put. And my suggestion to them who are doing engineering over here, I can give a live project to them. Let us try to build a startup as a hospital. Let us go to a place where 100 villages are there, and from 100 villages, people can come to hospital. You engineers will help them to for machines and all those things, and some lawyers will put up lawyers, chartered accountants, and MD and MS doctors will come together, put a hospital over there. You will be supporting hand to them as a system administrator and all those things, and at the same you are doing social work as well as social service, as well as you are providing a hospital facilities at proper cost with proper salary, with all the norms. Another thing you can do, you can start a school, professional education school for people, as a vocational education and all those things. That can be a project as well. Even you can do lot of startups are possible, as sir has said. Apart from this, why cannot you people become master of all than jack of all? Because nowadays, I have seen people on laptop or on these mobile phones all the times, and they know more than me. I accept it. Your generation knows more than me. Even 3-year and 7-year kid knows how to go inside the system of the this mobile phone. So you're already skillful. You have to diversify the skill set, and then you'll definitely become employable. At the same time, there are so many jobs coming up. Trust me, there are all the industries are going to boom after COVID-19. It is because all are locked up, so travel and tourism will come up. Then because of travel tourism come up, and hospitals are definitely, as already has said, that hospitals and all facilities are already developing. So what will happen? That people will feel safe. Even the COVID-19 vaccine will also be there. Imagine a situation. I always talk about one of my book, A Solution Master. It has reached to more than 200 million in 179 countries. And it has only one theme. That if in India, 1 billion people can get polio drops vaccination at their doorstep, then why can't education to all be provided to all? Why cannot we achieve sustainable development goals? In fact, each sustainable development goal is a $1 trillion business minimum. So 17 sustainable development goals are there. So many businesses are there. You just have to enter, see the opportunities and evolve yourself, train yourself for that, and you get the job. You train yourself for the startup. So many opportunities are there. Apart from this, my request to education institution is to become an incubation center than just degree providers. Because if we have incubation center for startup, first year only they start the business. By 4 years, they mature to become a proper businessman, entrepreneur in that institution. And after 4 years, they become a job provider than job seeker. And this is the way India is going to evolve, exalt, and there will be vocal for local as well. Because when you talk about COVID-19 and all those things, then people get frightened. Nahi re baba. No, but lekin dar ke aage jeet hai bhai. Dar ke aage jeet hai. So we have to prepare ourselves. And then You have to, businesses will first revitalize themselves and then they will come and they'll start running. Why I'm telling you that in the first year only you develop a project for your startup? Because there is a software technology for agile. Fail fast and learn fast. If you fail fast and learn, and then you can go ahead and you can have a proper business and you can jump into as an entrepreneur, and you will be job provider. In fact, there is no dearth of talent in India. There is no dearth of opportunities as well. And in fact, I have completed 9 minutes. In 1 minute, I can just revise that. There are two ways you can do. One way is you go for a job and prepare for it and become multi-talented, a multitasker, multi-talented, and give justice to that without wasting time. And another channel is to become entrepreneur, fail fast and learn fast. These are the two options. Now it is, I have tried to tell as much as I can within 9 minutes and 40 seconds. And I should say, thank you very much for giving me opportunities over here, because this is my first lecture as a Pro Vice Chancellor in Mangalayatan University. And thanks to, ASMA and all these organizations coming together and doing this wonderful job to enlighten people. And I hope we will be able to achieve sustainable development very soon. And just last sentence, educated people can solve better problems in a better way than the non-educated people. So let us try to achieve sustainable development. Let us try to educate all, and let us try to be job provider than job seeker engineers. Okay. Thank you very much all. Thank you. Thank you. Bye, sir. Thank you very much. I'll be there.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Ashish. It was really great. You have really motivated everybody, all the youngsters. Fail fast and learn fast. डर के आगे जीत है, बहुत बढ़िया बोला आपने. And now may I request Dr. S.Y. Kulkarni ji to come. He is another IITian out of Bombay.
Am I visible?
VLSI design expert. And so many things you can see in it has been already introduced, so I will not repeat those things. Dr. Kulkarni, please.
Ashish
Yes,
sir, please mute yourself. Ashish sir, please mute yourself.
Yeah, good morning, all of you. Very nice. I mean, before really to start with, I would like to congratulate ASMA and another group for this great initiative of giving exposure to all the students on the career options in engineering, especially post COVID-19 pandemic. And my earlier speakers, they have spoken a lot, like, I mean, how exactly this COVID-19 affected our lifestyle and what we need to do it further. And especially for the students, I think it's a testing time. Earlier students were very, very comfortable in the sense they were knowing very, very clear that it is going to be a 4 years program, I mean, engineering. And is it okay?
Yeah, there was some disturbance, sir. Now it is okay.
Now we can start, right? Yeah, this engineering program was very, very, very structured, and everything, it used to go in a very, very modular fashion. Like, I mean, first year what it used to be, second year what it used to be, and in this particular process, students were given all kinds of the skills, like how they can become employable, and maybe end of the and 14.
Producer, please check whose side is noisy. Producer, please check.
I have unmuted it, sir.
Okay. Yeah. Anyway, this post-COVID-19 is going to be noisy like this. I mean, I think we have to work on making it more and more clear. I think it's basically an indication towards that. And as all of you know, this COVID-19 has made our lifestyle completely changed. What we used to be and then what we are going to be, I think now there will be a definite change. And being in the home, I mean, work from home and all these things, almost about 2.5 to 3 months. Many companies, in fact, I mean, they were working very, very seriously. I think now they're not working and they're not able to produce. And many of the jobs are being lost. And so many things are happening. And to prepare ourselves for this, I think the only savior that came to rescue us is the technology. And with this particular technology, I think a lot of things happened, and many things are going to happen. And with that, we are able to really do something. For example, if at all I have to look at the technology, for example, cloud, in terms of the big data, and also the exposure to cyber security aspects and all those things, it helped a lot. And then looking at this, if at all I have to talk about the career options in engineering for the students, I feel now in these areas, I mean, there are going to be a lot of opportunities. For example, if at all I have to talk about the data and working from home and all those things, it has resulted in creating a lot of data and also created in the analysis of this particular data. I mean, a lot of data is being created and a lot of data has undergone the processing. And in that regard, one of the statistics, if at all I have to quote, more than 22% of the data has been generated only during this COVID-19 period. And if at all we have to process this and then we have to work on this, most of the companies, since they need to work on data processing, I think even the jobs like data analysts and the data scientists and also professionals in ML and AI, artificial intelligence and machine learning, I think it is going to take a very, very big leap. For example, now many of the colleges are starting their own programs in AI and ML. Even the institution where we are working, that is called BNM Institute of Technology, we have started an exclusive new program on artificial intelligence and machine learning, where the students are going to be given exposure so that they can be ready for the future kind of the jobs they are going to have. And with this data surge that is going to happen, and many jobs are going to be created, and accordingly, it is a need that people have to prepare, our students have to prepare themselves to get ready for this. It do not have to be a regular program. Even the short-term programs like maybe 3 months or maybe 6 months of the programs, if they get exposed to this, and then they will be ready for the future jobs. And other one, if at all I have to tell about on the cyber security, I think everything has become online, as you know. Even getting food to the home, it has become online, and then even whatever you talk about and whatever the activities, and so many online agencies, they have come out with their proposals, and a lot of online things are happening. And with this, there is a greater threat that has come about the cyber security. And in order to take into account, so if you look at many of the CIOs of the companies, they have taken this as the first priority, and accordingly, it has created a lot of jobs in terms of the cyber security architects and cyber security experts, I mean, who can handle this. And there are a lot of job opportunities in this also. And when I say this, it may not have to be mandatory and exclusive program, again, with the existing core engineering programs. And this could be made as a specialization, and then people can be made ready for this kind of jobs. And other area I should mention is on the digital marketing. And in the digital marketing, the whole concept of the marketing itself got changed. And in the digital marketing, everything again is going to happen online. And so many things. I mean, there is no need that you can have your own shop, and then you can have your own market, but you can create a market using the digital things. And I feel in terms of the jobs also, digital marketing is going to provide a lot of job opportunities for the students. And one need to be get ready for this. For example, PPC practitioners and digital brand managers and content and SEO experts and CRM experts. I mean, these kind of people, now they are going to have definitely a good kind of jobs that are being made available. And these could also be the another avenues or opportunities where people can really think of and then start working towards that. Is going to be another area that we need to look at it. And other one is in a very big way, business analysts are going to have a very, very important role. As you know, we are talking about the data, and a lot of data has been accumulated, a lot of data analysis that is taking place, and taking this data and then coming to the information and then converting knowledge out of that, and even creating some kind of the analysis, even for the business, we need experts in that regard. So even in the business analysis part also, especially for the management students and even the engineering students with the background of the management, so they can get into this kind of jobs, and they have to get expertised in these areas. And let me tell you, this COVID-19 pandemic is accelerating a change towards the new normal. I think that nobody can dispute. And it is best for all of us to adopt adopt fast, and we have to change ourselves to see that, I mean, the changes are being incorporated with us, and we become ready for the kind of the jobs what you are looking for. Instead of hanging on the conventional the branches and then conventional approaches in the engineering, it is better that we can orient ourselves to these and become ready for whatever the kind of the jobs that are going to be taken. And if this is being done, I'm very sure that even post COVID-19, there won't be any dearth for the jobs, and all are going to have the opportunities to get employed in one or the other companies. But these expertise, I'll say, these skills are required, and one has to work towards that. And this is my note in this regard. And maybe subsequently, if there are any questions pertaining to that, I don't mind answering to that. Jetli sir, I think this is what I want to tell at this stage.
Thank you, Kulkarni साहब. Very nicely put. कि आगे आने वाले समय में conventional approach नहीं चलेगा. You have to think out of the box. Innovation is the key. Think how the people are going to do business in future. If you do that, you are going to get much greater success what you had in the past. Yes, opportunities are galore. There is no lack of opportunities. But इस चीज को ध्यान रखिएगा जो अभी आपको कुलकर्णी साहब ने बताया. Thank you very much, Kulkarni साहब. So nice of you. Now you can unmute. You can mute yourself. And may I request now Dr. Jawahar Suresh Shetty. Sir, I may not be pronouncing correctly your second part of the name. Please excuse me for that. But Jawahar is very correct, I am sure. Dr.
Yes.
Jawahar.
Yes, that's right.
Of the Rungta Group of Institutions. Please go ahead, sir.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir, very much. You are.
Fantastic. So, thank you for making me a part of this. Yes, we have a challenge ahead, but I am not seeing many negative things that the fourth year students who have received their offer letters, and maybe some of the industries have cancelled those or postponed those, feel that there is no scope in future. But believe me, with whatever intervention that I have with the government, out of the 1024 or 25 industries that want to shift out of China, 324 have already approached the Indian government to say that we want to set up shop in India, which means that huge conglomerates who were earlier concentrated in China want to shift to India. That means more jobs. But the challenge is, are we skilled enough to do that? Are our engineering colleges producing people who can fit into these roles? Then the answer is yes. And also we'll need to slightly shift our focus from what we do to what they want. So the industry institute interface is important. Having said this, the COVID scene has brought in a new era in technology. WHO, which was a core health organization, and health and technology were supposed to be two ends of the spectrum for at least the 12th grade students who opt either for PET or PMT or JEE and NEET. Now what has happened is that WHO has become highly technical, and they are using technology to the fullest to understand what are the happenings across the world. That means technology has come of age. Earlier, there were some doubts being raised on technology education, engineering colleges, how they are going down, how the demand is going down. It looks that now, if we are able to change the shape of things to come and realign ourselves to the post-COVID era, there is a fantastic opportunity for technology resurgence. And if we are able to do this, the problem only is that we are sluggish in terms of the educational institutions. We do not do. So forward-looking educational institutions which do well any which way are the future. And they also will need to realign to the fact that engineering is becoming slightly transdisciplinary. Like I said, there is a marriage of medicine or health and technology happening. Within the branches of engineering education also there is a marriage happening. So you will see that in post-COVID era, there is a minimum touch policy. So people will be afraid to touch each other. They want to maintain a distance, etc., etc. So most of the menial jobs where the human interface is required will be replaced by bots. And if bots are actually, we create them. And if bots, there has to be innovation in these bots in which, so we will require people in computer sciences in more numbers, electronics and telecommunication in more numbers. Now again, if there is more of automation happening in industries due to the same thing, minimum touch policy, that means there are more of mechanical engineerings who are also marrying themselves with computer science or electronics and telecommunications. So again, there is a transdisciplinary intervention between these two. So what I am saying is, even if I am mechanical engineering is going to go up, telecommunication, electronics and telecommunication, electrical is going, computer science is anyway there. So even the core branches are going to do well in the sense that they will have to tweak their courses with a little bit of computers like data science has to come into these courses. These small modular courses have to be inculcated into these core areas so that the marriage happens better. So industry will be looking at more of automation, and for more of automation, we need people who know the machinery, who know the manufacturing to suggest how to automate it. So again, thinking that automation is going to take away jobs from people, it's not the right thing to do. Again, like I said, in the case of MOOCs, I see that whenever there is a recession, recession helps higher educational institution. How I'll tell you, even if there is a temporary setback for the next 6 months in the job scenario, and so what the student in the final year decides that instead of not having a job and sitting, let me go for higher education or maybe a 1-year diploma or maybe a PG. So higher educational institutions will have to step up their activity and try to see that the gentleman who was not earlier wanting to do a PG and wants to do a PG, he should be industry ready in the next year. So he may be utilizing his time to make himself more employable. So I am seeing an upsurge in the higher educational institutions and higher education in higher educational institutions. That is the first thing. The second is students who are already at homes in the lockdown and doing whatever little online is happening. I would suggest that you go to Coursera, edX, or maybe Udacity, Udemy, and do some small modular courses which can add to your biodata. And by the time you come back to institution, you would have one extra skill with you. So that is something that you should do to not to waste your time in the thing, because we say that online, if you are having 6 hours of classes in the physical college and you can only do 2 hours or 3 hours online, what do you do with the 3 hours? And time for young boys and girls is like smoke. The more you leave it, it will fill up like smoke in the whole room and they will waste that time. So I would suggest in the rest of the 3 hours or 2 hours that you have, instead of just whiling away your time, do some MOOCs and upgrade yourself, because the time in US, what we are seeing right now is, suppose I have an engineer who has 35,000 as a salary in a month, and there is an MBA or a manager who has again 35,000 as a salary. Then what we are looking for is a person who is an engineer and an MBA, and I get him for 50,000, the company saves 20,000 US dollars. So multi-skilling is happening and is going to happen in future. So however busy you are, take out 1 hour's time, do some MOOCs which you think, like data science, the previous speaker has said, data science. There are many things that you could do. You could do even things on innovation. You can do things on entrepreneurship, but don't waste your time in a lockdown. This is for students. For teachers, I think what we will need to do in our institutions, especially the teachers, is we can use this time to upgrade them to the latest technologies which are happening. Unfortunately, in institutions and most of them, the upgradation of teachers doesn't happen very frequently. And to that extent, like the CBSE does in schools, there is a regular series going on. Teachers are being upgraded in the school level. AICTE and UGC leave it more on the colleges, and so the colleges which are having the initiative to do this, do it, and those who don't do it. So it only increases the divide between the good and the mediocre. So mediocre keep remaining mediocre because they don't upgrade their teachers. They don't take care of. So this is a golden opportunity to upgrade the teachers. The more you upgrade, the better they become, and the better delivery happens in the classroom. The last point that I want to make is there is no point to be depressed. I am seeing India as a fantastic place to be in, barring the temporary setback that we have for the next 3 months. Engineering education is going to surge like anything, but the rider is that we will need to upgrade ourselves to the market conditions, changed market conditions, and the modernization that is going to happen across. You are seeing how Arogya Setu is making waves, a beautiful piece of technology, maybe forced by the government, but the effect that is having on our lives, on our daily lives, is an example of how technology is going to take shape in the future. Small things possible, young boys and girls becoming entrepreneurs with the technology background and surging the nation forward is something that I am seeing, and I am very bullish on India, especially with whatever is happening with China or whatever is happening in the world. But India is going to be fantastic. Thank you very much.
Great. Thank you. Thank you very much, Professor Jawahar. It was really great. You have told us some of the beautiful things. One news that 300 plus Chinese companies have already approached India, that they want to set up their manufacturing facilities in India. Great, great news. And then you talked about the multidisciplinary things. Excellent. I fully agree. The marriage of the various disciplines is going to be the good thing, like mechanical engineering, electronics, computer, all together. Some may call it mechatronics and all those type of things. Yes, it's going to happen a lot, no doubt. And it is perfectly the right time for the teachers to do FDP's faculty development program. They must join. It's a great idea. Many times our faculty, whatever level they join a college, they remain there only. And let me tell you, that's the truth about more than 50% of them. Hardly 20 to 30% people really keep upgrading themselves. You have said it very rightly, sir. And now let me invite Professor Anand Bhale Rao ji. Anand Bhale Rao ji is the principal and dean, Bharati Vidyapeeth, a great college of Pune University with many colleges, I think, all over India. And I believe you have one in Delhi, also in Janakpuri, probably. They invited me once, long time back. So, Professor Bhale Rao, sir.
Very good morning to you all. In rather good afternoon to you all. First of all, I hope I am audible. I have kept my video purposely off.
You are audible, but we cannot see you.
Yeah, I kept my video purposely off just to have consumption of minimum consumption of bandwidth. Now I have opened it. But I will keep my video off. That will be better.
Sir, नहीं, sir, video off नहीं होना चाहिए. हम आपको देखना भी चाहते हैं, sir. सुनना भी चाहते हैं, देखना भी चाहते हैं. Please.
Okay, sir. First of all, I really congratulate ASMA, Mr. Chandan, and all you organizers for taking this brilliant topic for the discussion. As we are always among the students, and what are their worries, what they need it. What they are expecting from we all industry as well as teachers and academicians. We are always aware about that one, and on that ground you have touched a very right topic and you all deserve very great congratulations for that. Secondly, I will appreciate all my earlier speakers. They have spoken so well, so nicely, that I'm fortunate to hear all of them. Everybody has touched various points, and really it is a value addition to me also, not only the students who are attending this, but it is value addition to me also. So I really thankful to all the speakers who have shared their knowledge. What points I'm going to share it here, maybe little somewhat repetition, but some points which are touched to my mind that I would like to share with you all. So in this, because of the COVID-19, as everybody is talking about that one, I will not talk much detail about that one, but this has affected both. The one is the business in all sectors, and another is the aspiring professionals. Our students also come under the aspiring professionals. Not only that, those who are presently in working and aspiring for the higher positions, growth in their life, growth in career, that also affected everything. But as we are restricting to the academic institutions and the student, I will touch to that point only. As all academicians who are with me here as a presenters, they will accept my point that career of student passing in 2020 is greatly affected now. It is, I'm saying greatly affected doesn't mean that it is in a negative way. It is all from the assessment point of view. It is great, it is affected. And there is a challenge in front of the students how to succeed. They are graduating, future is there, and how to succeed is very great challenge in front of them. As you know that lockdown is started in the month of March, and placement scenario or placement activity 80%, more than 80%, 90% placement activity in all the academic institution was over by the end of March. And many good institutions have got good placement offers. More than 86% in my institute, 86% placement we have received. But most challenge is that presently placements are there. Students have the placement orders, but there is no assurance when and how these placements offers will be honored. There may be reduction in salary, there may be delay in the joining, so many things are going to take place. So in challenges in future jobs, the jobs which are coming from IT also affected. So when I thought that what are the possible areas where the jobs are possible, and students should know it. We are academic institutions. I am administrator, and I have, as along with me, others are also there. They have spent so many years in the academic institutions, they can visualize in which area the future jobs are there. So when I say that in which area the future jobs are there, the very one point comes into my point. That means I especially Dr. Kulkarni will agree with me that automation is the major area where I'm expecting a lot of jobs. So this automation, when we think it in a broad way, as other speakers have also mentioned, major area is the data sciences and artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence, machine learning, these will definitely create the jobs. Along with this one, I see the another area, which is the robotic process automation and digital process automation. As the time constraint, otherwise there is an example of the one good company which is hiring at present also students who have the expertise in the robotic process presentation. And another thing now, that earlier it was that I am expert in Java, I am expert in .NET. So I am expecting the job in Java or job in .NET only. But now the situation won't be like that. Companies will definitely expect the multi-language high-end programming. I should be strong in Java, I should be strong in .NET, as well as I should be strong in Perl Python, I should be strong in Ruby, I should be strong in C++ also. So whatever job is given to me, I should be ready and I should have expertise in that one. Such skills somehow we have to acquire it. I think one of the speaker, if not mistaken, Dr. Jawar has mentioned, you have to have a multidisciplinary approach. Today's machines, from computer to MRI scanners to coffee maker, include hardware, software, electrical, mechanical, and many other systems which will work together. So multidisciplinary approach is very, very important, and I have to be ready for that one. I wish to give two words for my students, and these words are capability and capability. As the situation is changed, the jobs are changing, work is changing, working space is changing, compensation is changing, work hours are also changing, everything is changing. So am I able to cope up all these things? So capability is very important. At the same time, capability is also important, and I feel that these are the paramount important for us. One more thing which we should inculcate in our mind, 3-4 words are very important: redefine, reskilled, and redeploy. In this typical situation, we should not be choosy. Earlier days, yes, there were opportunities. I would say that I'm expertise in Java. I will take job only in Java. But now we should not be so choosy, and we have to accept what we have it. And as the situation changes, we can go in a selected area. There are many sectors. Whenever comparer will ask the questions, we will reply that which are the job sectors affected, which are the job sectors will come up, and which are the job sectors in due course of time they will come up. But here, as we always talk about students, I have to give some words to our academicians also. It's a great challenge to all academicians to define the curriculum, design the curriculum now. As the situations are changing, market situation is drastically changing. It is disrupting mode now. Teachers who are working in academic institutions, are they capable to define the curriculum which will give jobs to the students? That is very, very great challenge to all our teachers. Can we add the vocational program along with the regular degree which will make my students employable? As let us accept the fact that students are joining academic institutions, students are getting the degrees, students are expecting to have the degree. The main prime reason for them is the jobs and security of their future, and knowledge comes after that. In fact, the job should be the pedagogical effect of the knowledge, but the student feel that if I join this institute, if I take this curriculum, if I take this degree, will my job secure or will my future secure? That is their requirement, and it's a great challenge to academic institutions also to design the curriculum which will satisfy these needs of our forthcoming engineers, students, and which will define and decide the future of this nation also. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bhargav sir. So nice of you. You really touched upon some things beautifully. Like I liked the capability के साथ-साथ capability भी चाहिए.
Yes.
Beautiful word. I really liked it.
Yes, sir.
So, and people should not be too choosy because survival is the most important thing. जो opportunity आती है, just grab that opportunity.
Correct.
Whatever you have learned, you may have to unlearn and relearn the new ways of doing things.
Perfect.
Simply Java, .NET, etc. You have to be multi-language experts, no doubt about that. Yes, and even a reduction in salary also, you should be ready for that also, because times are very, very tough. There is no doubt. Though the future is very bright, there is no doubt in my mind. But then we should not be too choosy at this stage. If you come out, you get a job a bit less than your expectation, also just accept it. And your message for the faculty that they should use this time to design their curriculum, which makes their students more flexible, more employable, etc. Those good tips for the faculty also. Excellent.
Thank you.
Now, sir, I think having listened to you, do we go down to the questions? I have got on my mobile some questions that come, but before that, I think let me ask you some questions, sir. And let me start with Kulkarni sir. Sir, Kulkarni sir, you are a VLSI expert according to me.
Yeah.
I just want to know, according to my knowledge as of today, chip designing is happening a lot in India, but chip manufacturing, it's almost zero only.
Yeah.
Do you see any foundries coming up in the near future? Similarly, solar cells also. We have been mainly doing the panels, but the original uska basic jo hota hai, we are not making. So what do you feel, sir, in this industry? Anything going to happen in India shortly?
Yeah, India has been known for the front-end design, where only we make the design part of the chip and then we send it to the other countries like Taiwan and other places for the manufacturing. But with the changes in the scenario now, many of the foundries are coming back to Bangalore, and then they are planning to establish the foundries here. And chip making companies are going to come to India, and this is going to happen. And already some three companies have started their work in Bangalore, and they have started establishing the foundry here. And with that, it's not only just setting that. There will be a lot of job opportunities which are going to be created, because every foundry requires a large number of employees to be recruited, and that is one good thing that is going to happen for India. And what we're talking about, China, some companies are coming to Bangalore, and Taiwan-based companies are coming to Bangalore. These are basically the hardware manufacturing companies, and which is going to happen to India.
That's a great news, sir. Great news. I was looking for that news, sir. So thank you, sir, very much. And I'm sure our students also, they'll be very happy to know this, that foundries are coming to India finally.
Yeah.
And we have been always talking, mobile to Hindustan mein banta hai, lekin assemble hota hai. The chip comes from outside and you just assemble it. So once the foundry is here, we will be making everything totally in India. Great, sir. Great news. And I just want to know one more thing. Mr. Dr. Jawahar had told that around 300 plus companies have already approached India that they want to shift. Sir, do you have some names also, exact, which all, if possible?
Yes, I'll take some names.
Sir.
But since the government has not processed them,
that's okay.
They are supposed to be shown land, and so out of the 324, 20% are again mobile manufacturers. So that is the reason my talk was basically based on the job opportunities created on the basis of these 324 also. So most of them, like Oppo, Vivo and all, see, the best part is some Chinese manufacturers also are scared of producing from China. So they also want to shift to India, basically because the control over manufacturing is easier if they are next door instead of going to US. Second, Indian labor is closer in terms of the talent pool to the Chinese. And third is that they can get a better deal from the Indian government in terms of the taxes. So they are looking at this, and all the major companies, including Apple. Apple already has a unit here, but they want to shift the second unit somewhere to the north. So they are looking for a location there. The second thing that the Chinese people are wanting to look at, their export zones be coming to India. So maybe the SEZs that we have, which are not doing very well in India, there will be a lot of activity there because India wants to make a better deal for exporters so that the foreign currency comes in, and they also see that there is some FDI coming into India. So those sectors where FDI as per the budget is increased now, they will come in. The third important thing is health equipment. Some manufacturers they were Germans also, I am not taking names, they are Germans also who are wanting to shift to India, and health equipment is a big yes for India.
Great, great. Professor Bhale Rao sir, may I ask you, is there any plan that the so many engineering colleges, they can make use of the lectures being given by some top professors, maybe in IITs or the other colleges also, that all over India people are able to listen to them, maybe through AICTE, that they publish so and so lectures there, and everybody in the country is able to listen to them. Is there any planning going on that side, sir?
Sir, this type of system is possible all the way. There is no difficulty as far as growth in technology is concerned. There is one technology which we call as a video lecture capturing system, which is there in my institute also. Only I have to share that link to all who are interested. So my lecture or my professor's lecture can listen anybody. This is number one. Number two, AICTE has also come up with this one. Then they have started one particular channel also, and that system is there. Second thing, third thing, IIT Mumbai, especially as I know, they have also made that type of system available. only one has to go and find out which are the links, connectivity, and other formalities. But that system is there and can be enhanced also.
So I think that's great news for the students.
Yeah, one more thing I want to add it. In this year's approval process handbook, AICTE come with the new idea of collaboration within the institutions. So two institutions can have the collaboration for sharing of academics. So if you have agreement between one engineering college and another engineering college, they can share these type of lectures, academic sessions, everything they can share.
Jagdish sir, I want to share one thing.
Sure, sir.
Yeah, this post COVID, one of the greatest thing that happened is that not just giving the online lectures, many of the institutions also got involved in making the contents. Content generation happened in a very big way.
Yes.
And the number of the good lectures available, for example, as Professor Anand mentioned, his lecture, his professor's lecture, like this, when I really scan through and then browse, a lot of such lectures are available, and which is really advantage to the students. I think that is one good thing that really happened.
Yes, that's great. Yeah. Okay. Dr. Manohar, are you there, sir? Dr. Ashish? Because I don't see him.
Yeah, we can see Ashish, sir. Sir, can you please unmute yourself? Dr. Ashish Manohar, sir.
Dr. Ashish, can you hear me?
Sir, unmute yourself, please.
Ashish sir seems to be facing some problem with his mic adjustments.
Okay, no problems. Fine.
Ashish sir? Well, we can carry on. I think.
Okay, no problems. Fine. We'll continue. Okay, I've got some questions from the audience who have been listening.
Yeah.
Okay, Ashish is here.
It is done, sir.
Yeah, it's okay, Ashish. Fine. Now, one of your thing which I read in your profile, you are the expert in making cheaper technologies, and you have done a lot of job in that. Can you give some ideas to our students that here are these 4 or 5 things, guys, you can start up, and presently the particular product is available, let's say for 20,000 rupees, it can be made in 10,000 rupees also, something. Some 4 or 5 things which can inspire our students.
Is the question to me, sir?
Yes, sir, Ashish Manohar, sir.
Yeah. It is not showing live.
Don't worry, sir. You are live, sir. Don't worry, you are live.
We can hear you. Please go ahead.
Yeah. During my PhD, I had been to more than 2,200 companies in automobile sector. For example, maybe Singapore or Indonesia or India or so many places. In India, I had been to Bombay Pune region, right from Tata Motors in Pimpri to Chennai, Ford Motors to so many places. Just to give the example, I shall give one live example which will inspire the students. Once I went to Goregaon, industrial estate, and there one manufacturer for the one big company was there. He used to manufacture just a small screw. And what happened? In 1998, one downs was there, and in 2008 also economic downfall also there. So during the downfall, I went to him 1998, and in 2004 I went and saw that one. During 1998, I told him that, sir, you see, all your almost 10 million screws are lying over here, the stock, because the parent company had a slump in the market. Why don't you diversify, sir? Why you are so much dependent? He was so sure that he's not going to get a slump in his life. For 26 years, he didn't have any downfall in his company. Then I gave him that these are the companies and these are the companies and these are the companies where these similar screws are required in these machines. In 2004, as I told that in 2003, I talked to Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. So prior to a week earlier, I had been to Goregaon again, and I saw he was in fact exporting to almost 70 countries because he got the clue he wanted, and he was workaholic, and exporting to almost 70 countries is not a joke, right? From a downfall from 96 to 98, and within 6 months, turn around. 6 years, sorry, 6 years, it was a turn around. So my suggestion over here for the students is, you go to just a basic car. Take example of a basic car, Maruti 800. It has 33,035, means 33,035 parts are there. Why cannot somebody manufacture a single screw of that? And that was the only clue I gave him as well, because out of those 33,035 parts, you can at least manufacture maybe 10, maybe one, like that person. I can tell his name, but he said, Ashish, please keep it, because if I'm going to 70 countries and all those things, it is a matter of a business secret as well. So you have to take an example like this. I want to manufacture this screw, and I shall start a startup over here, and I require a CNC machine or maybe a lathe machine or whatever it may be. You make a proposal of that, and there are so many institutions in India, and so many, right from FICCI to you name it, CII to Entrepreneur Development Cell to Maharashtra Bank even. I know a sale of Maharashtra Bank, they train a person for development of a project to manufacture a small screw. Even, there are so many, even housewives also can enter into the business, like, sewing and all those things are there. So they have a project as well. They help a person to develop a project, right from Maharashtra Bank, Canara Bank, there are so many banks out there. But Maharashtra Bank, I'm saying because I have seen their activity live, and they have a sale adjacent to ITI, and they have a sale adjacent to, just 3 kilometers away from IIM Nagpur and VNIT, Vishweshwara National Institute of Technology. I have been there and I have seen how they develop the project. So there are so many, there are people, there are mentors, there are so many institutions, there are, retired people. Like my father is willing to mentor people, but there are not people coming to him. I know many retired industrialists. I can tell the name of a Mr. Thakkar adjacent to us, he lives. He said, Ashish, I have expertise in this. I can help people generate their business and go to places. In fact, micro industry का मीडियम स्केल इंडस्ट्री, लार्ज स्केल इंडस्ट्री, उसको मैं 15 से 20 साल में करके दे सकता हूँ. He is 72 years old, but nobody is coming to him. I mean, there are people who are willing to provide their knowledge, but हमारे यहाँ पे गवर्नमेंट जॉब एंड जॉब ही चाहिए, 10 to 5 ही चाहिए, ऐसा ही चाहिए, वैसा ही चाहिए. There are so many, there are so many limitations we have put over us, and even parents, and so many, even the whole society. So that is why last two sentences, as in Scrum, I already told that in the first year, Scrum is an agile technology. Software में अगर fail fast और learn fast हो सकता है, तो मैकेनिकल इंजीनियरिंग से लेके सारे बायोटेक्नोलॉजी से लेके MBBS से MD से लेके हर जगह यूनिवर्सली इंटरडिसिप्लिनरी एक होके एक आधा बिजनेस क्यों नहीं डेवलप कर सकते? I mean, these are, one more example. I can tell his name. I know a person who was in the class of my elder sister. His name is Modgare, and he was pharmaceutical expert. He said, I want an engineer. Ashish, can you come? I said, I'm just in first year. How can I help you? And then he went to a senior person who had expertise in business. He said, I know a pharmaceutical chemical which is used for manufacturing the tablets. And those, I am the only 3 person in the world who has this formula and have the project. Only 3 people in the world. One is in India, other is in UK, and third is in Finland, he said. And he had license to manufacture those pills, I mean the tablets, using that chemical. Engineers just have to go and develop project with them. So such projects are infinite. You just have to ask, be humble, and grow. I mean, if you want more examples, all out of 2,200, I can give 1,500 example of each and every small scale industry.
Great, sir. Great.
So that's all I can say.
Now we know whom to approach. If somebody is looking for an idea, Dr. Ashish Manohar, sir, apna phone share kar dijiyega, sir. People will approach you. Now here is a question for Dr. Jawahar. This question has come from, I am a class 12 student. I am a class 12 student. I would like to become next Bill Gates or Steve Jobs. Please tell me, what should I do?
Okay. On a lighter note, become Bill Gates. But seriously, Bill Gates was a dropout, school dropout, but he had an aim due to which he dropped out of school, and he did a SWOT analysis on whether any further qualification is going to help me in my aim or not, and then said, no, let me go ahead with my passion. Do you have something like that in mind, or just saying that I want to become Bill Gates, I am in 12th, I am at the crossroads whether to go ahead or not? That is not enough, because we have not done a study of what Bill Gates has done. One, if there is an aim, if there is an action plan, please do it.
Great. Thank you, sir. There is one question. We have a civil engineer amongst us, Professor Anand Bhalerao, basically civil engineer, and then went into hydraulics and all that. He's asking, what are the job prospects in the field of civil engineering post-COVID? Is there also a big push up or push down, or what is happening? Civil engineering side, sir. Sir, unmute. Unmute yourself, sir.
There are 2 questions related to the civil engineering. One has asked, nobody has said anything about civil, and another question which you said it, that the government of India, I'm not from any particular political party, but government of India is very sensible government at present. And the Ministry of Road Transport and this infrastructure development is Nitin Gadkari ji is very innovative person. And he has come up with large investment in the infrastructure development. So if you see the government of India's website, by different ways, he is bringing lot of money in infrastructure development, road development, then ports and harbor development, then inland water transport, as well as many other sectors, border road areas also. I can give you the example of the state of Maharashtra, which I'm from, that in Maharashtra itself, the roads worth of 50,000 crore rupees are under construction. So there, I have many my classmates who are working as a chief engineer, executive engineer, superintending engineer. They are saying that we are not getting the civil engineers to supervise this road work and all this one. The starting salary for civil engineers on the road and all this one is 25 to 30,000, and within 2 years of time they are reaching to the 50,000. Only they have to accept, as I have mentioned in my initial speech also, we have to accept what we get it now. They have to work under sun. You will not get the AC, you will not get the cool environment, laptop and all these things, and you have to work on site. But at the same time, initially, if you spend some few years on site, you will get office work also, because a lot of softwares also being used in this construction industry and all this one. So I see there is a lot of scope for the civil engineers. Let me share with you one report which I came across very recently. It is not from India. It is a report of US Bureau of Statistics recently published. as somebody has mentioned that the companies are shifting from China to here and there, America is also of same thought process to bring back their manufacturing in India from in USA from China. They have mentioned that in 2020 they will be in need of 1,40,000 engineers, and out of that the largest requirement is of civil engineers. 46,000 engineers they required from the civil engineering field. So this is the case of USA, where the economy is growing at the rate of 1.5 to 2.5 rate. We may have that scope also, we can increase. So I think there is a scope, but you need to have the aptitude of hardship.
Great, sir. Thank you very much. So all civil engineers who need a job, please contact Professor Bhalerao.
Can I add something?
Yes, sir. Please, Johar, sir. Please.
So what Professor Bhalerao has said makes a lot of sense. The companies shifting from China include US companies. They are not Chinese companies, first. The second thing is, since Nitin Gadkari's name has come in, I am not taking that name, but the government of India has 5,300 kilometers of road to be laid in 2021. This is the budgetary allocation. But in the earlier average was 37 kilometers per day. But now, due to COVID times, it has come down to 26, the average. So the minister says that whatever is the leftover or the backlog has to be completed within this financial year. So I see a surge of civil engineers and the recruitment, seeing the statement that he has made, and his execution levels are very high. So I am looking at that.
Great, sir. Thank you very much. That's a very good input. 5,300 kilometer roads to be completed within this year. So great opportunity for the civil engineers and all those people who make the equipment for these road constructions and all that. Great.
Yes.
Now let me ask one question. Is technology the only way to move ahead, or there are some other methods we should focus upon, the so-called soft skills? Who would like to answer, sir?
Sir, I would like to add in that.
Yeah, please, sir.
It's very right and excellent question, which I mean, it has touched to my heart. During my so many years of career, I am in the academics for 35 years. I came across with many students, faculty members, as well as industry. The very foremost important point which I have noted is the ability to communicate with others. It's very important soft skill that every engineer must have. When I have to get my work done from my colleagues, what way I should communicate them? If I want to explain my boss, my authority, what I have done, I should have the right communication. So for the perfect execution of the job or responsibility, right words, right tone, right way, and right method. These are very essential, and our student should adopt this particular important. The second important thing.
Sir. So technology is almost like a vehicle, and it has to be driven. And how to drive that is going to be, I mean, it's another this thing. And all the proper skills that are required, maybe it is a soft skill or something. Only with that it is possible to drive the technology, not independently. Alone it can't be done.
Okay, fine. Dr. Arora, Dr. Ashish Manohar, you wanted to say something? Unmute. Dr. Manohar ka unmuting thoda takes time.
Okay.
Okay. Meanwhile, let me give one ABC formula regarding the communication. ABC. Whatever you communicate, it should have that ABC. Accuracy, brevity, and clarity. In writing or speaking or on SMS or email, follow this ABC formula. It should be accurate in shortest possible sentences, and clarity. It should not have double and triple meanings. Remember that, all students, everybody. So ABC formula.
So he is not unmuted yet.
No, you are not yet, sir.
So should I say
please go
something?
ahead. Please.
You unmute में problem आ रहा है.
आ गया मनोहर जी, आ गया मनोहर जी, आ गया मनोहर जी। हाँ जी मनोहर जी बोलिए।
Okay, done. So,
मनोहर जी प्लीज गो अहेड।
sir, frankly speaking, the communication skills has to start from the young age itself. And I have
some problem, sir. Okay, whatever you wanted to say, I will complete it. What you said, people have to start at the young age. So I tell the engineering students, when you go in first year, even if you have come from a very, very ordinary school, you are not able to communicate in English language. पहली बात तो इंग्लिश का हुआ दिमाग में कभी नहीं बैठना चाहिए. You should be able to communicate in your mother tongue thoroughly. In fact, आपको एग्जांपल दे रहा हूं, मैं जो भी स्टूडेंट सुन रहे हैं, I was giving a talk in Nasik to the railway engineering students. There were around 40 of them. I asked them, how many of you are confident to come here on the stage to speak for just 1 minute? Can you imagine, out of 40, just 2 hands only. 38 were not confident. मैंने कहा, hey, come on guys, what is the problem? This is, sir, पता नहीं आप कौन सा टॉपिक दे दोगे? मैंने कहा, okay, the topic of your choice. 2 more hands came up. Then I said, hey, come on guys. Then I said, okay, any language you like in your mother tongue also. तब जाकर के around 12 hands came up out of 40. Even then, I said, you speak in your mother tongue, Hindi, English, whatever language you are comfortable. Problem is, people are not confident even in their mother tongue also. And I say, if you are confident in your mother tongue, over a period of time, you will become confident in English also and Hindi also. हो सकता है आपका एक्सेंट वहां पे इंग्लिश मैन जैसा ना ही आए. No problem. Don't feel inferior. Indians are the people who speak best English all over the world, let me tell you. Compared to Chinese, compared to Koreans, compared to Russians, compared to Japanese, anybody else. We speak the best English, let me tell you. So इन बच्चों का मैं बोलता हूँ, इंग्लिश का हुआ दिमाग में कभी मत बैठने दीजिए. But yes, अपने आप को confident बनाओ. You should be able to communicate in English, Hindi and your mother tongue. Because if you are working in, let's say, Maharashtra, you should have a command over Marathi also. Because speakers को अपने workers को motivate करने के लिए आपको मराठी बोलनी पड़ेगी. तमिलनाडु में हो तो तमिल आनी चाहिए, बंगाल में हो तो बंगाली आनी चाहिए. You should be able to speak that particular lingo of that particular place. Yes, sir. Ashish Manoharji, I think you can speak now.
I just wanted to add 2 sentences. I hope everybody knows that I reached more than 20 crore. That is 200 million people in 179 countries. Now that's a big sum. It includes a billionaire as well as scientists, Nobel laureates as well. Now I asked them one question. So what is the biggest success formula of yours? A billionaire said, a scientist said, and even a successful person in his domain said that, sir, it's only communication, communication and communication only. Sir, if you have to suppose encourage somebody, you need communication. If you have to face the down phase of your business or down phase of your academics or down phase of life or whatever it may be, you have to communicate to yourself by this phase will also pass. It is only communication that has brought us over here, and it is only communication that has made NASA they could go, because JFK said that within 10 years we are going to moon, and they went it. And JFK John F. Kennedy asked one of the person who was using the janitor, I mean he was and all those fantastic things he was doing, he said, why are you working over here, sir? He said, I want to send a person from USA to moon. And because of JFK's that communication, it happened. Then Churchill also, they went on to win the war even when a lot of bombs were dropped on the London. I mean, it is only communication. Sant Gyaneshwar, Sant Tulsidas, you name even the leaders in politics, business, anywhere, Tatas, everybody. So it is only communication that will make you or break you, is the message right from billionaire, scientist, student to even your parents or anybody will tell you. And so you have to master your communication. Thank you.
Great, sir. Thank you very much. So I think all four of you are the panelists here because all four of you are great in your communication. You have communicated your thoughts very, very beautifully to the students and the faculty who is listening. And I'm sure it has been recorded also, and it will be used over a period of time by the various colleges. And your pearls of wisdom which you have given to everybody, it's great. I feel Asma has done a great job by inviting you all. And I, as a moderator, I convey my sincere thanks to all four of you, sir. It's really my pleasure being with you. And I also learned a lot, to be frank. And I will request Rahul or Chandan to please share your phone numbers with me so that I'll be in touch with you. And, whenever I have some query, now I know your expertise, I will use that expertise.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. So, Chandan, you want to convey a vote of thanks, or Rahul, you want to convey?
Sir, I want to give you the special thanks to you also. You are the best anchor and conducted this meeting so nicely that we enjoyed this lot. It's a great pleasure to be with you.
Thank you.
So, Talia, sir.
धन्यवाद. ताली सबके लिए, sir.
Chandan sir, please unmute yourself.
Yes, Jaitley sir, thank you so much for that encouragement and the motivation. Definitely these feedbacks would give us the stepping stone to to have certain changes and to give best of our delivery. So Jaitley sir, यही बात हो गई कि कौन मतलब मुबारक हो जिसे सीढ़ियां जिन्हें छत पर जाना हो. वो कहते हैं मुबारक हो उन्हें सीढ़ियां जिन्हें छत पर जाना है. हमारी मंजिल तो आसमां है और रास्ता हमें खुद बनाना है.
Very good, great.
So with that thought, we are meeting in this platform और बहुत अच्छे से सर आपने ये tone set किया है. Thank you so much for all the panelists, the guidance and the creativity in this COVID era which you have given us to us. It is really commendable. Jaitley sir, you come with an army background. And your pitch, your delivery, and I go through your profile. You are really a very true motivational speaker, sir. मतलब अच्छों में आप में वो जो एनर्जी डाल देते हो अपने बातों से, it is really a very aspiring and very thoughtful, sir. We are definitely will be inviting you in many set of series. There are many events which are in pipeline till the month end of August. So hopefully we'll be seeing you in many of these sessions coming forward. और आशीष बनोर सर, एक बात आपके लिए मैं कहना चाहूँगा, आपका सेंस ऑफ ह्यूमर और डिलीवरी बड़ा प्यारा है सर. मतलब
थैंक यू वेरी मच.
इट गेट्स सो कनेक्टेड और वो मुस्कान चेहरे में आ जाती है. मे बी द स्पीच विच यू गिव और जो आप ह्यूमर जानबूझ के उसमें डालते हो विथ योर हिंदी स्पीकिंग, तो वो कनेक्ट. इट इज अगेन द कम्युनिकेशन. ऐसा नहीं, वो बॉलीवुड का डायलॉग था, एंटरटेनमेंट. उस टोन में आपको राइट. सो इंक्यूबेशन आपने जो बात बोली बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है सर. फेल फास्ट एंड लर्न फास्ट, दीज आर वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग्स व्हिच यू टोल्ड अबाउट. Dr. Kulkarni sir from BNMIT, conventional will not work. Absolutely correct, sir. Innovation and out of the box thinking is the need of the hour. Absolutely, sir. Dr. Jawahar Surisetty sir, I have been knowing him since many years now. He is one of my mentors and a guide and has been encouraging us in organizing such stuff. बहुत अच्छा feedback देते हैं. Tell more about the government policies and all, because he is also a smart city expert and he is also a government of India advisor. So बहुत सारे government initiatives में sir is very much involved into it. So human interference की आपने जो बात बोली sir, it will be replaced by bots. Absolutely, sir. Our one of the companies, Orai Robotics, is actually into it. They are transforming the education system through the technologies, by including the bots and artificial intelligence. In fact, हमारे event का भी theme यही है sir. We are trying to generate the leads through artificial intelligence, and we are preaching this event as one of the biggest and the first AI-powered webinar series, India's Admission Hunt, जो कि आप लोग जिसमें third session में आप लोग हो सर. So more automation will happen with the minimum touch policy. Absolutely correct. Upgradation of teachers is definitely required, sir. And I salute to your bullish approach. It is really welcome, sir. Not to worry approach which you have given in this COVID era is really appreciated, sir. Dr. Anand Bhalerao, sir, I admire him a lot. He is one of my mentors and one of my gurus, as I'm also an ex-Bharati Vidyapeeth, sir. I'm an alumni of the Bharati Vidyapeeth. I did my MBA from the management college. So automation is playing a very major role. AI, ML, and data sciences is definitely having a very key role over here. Robotics process automation के बारे में आपने बात बोला. Multi-language approach, high-end programming is definitely needed. Multidisciplinary, I guess, sir, every panelist talked about the multidisciplinary approach. Two important words which definitely is in my mind and every time I'll be speaking about, capability and capability. बहुत अच्छी बात आपने बताई सर, उसको एक्सप्लेन करते हुए how it is so important to us. You cannot be choosy, absolutely. It is not only in the field of engineering, but it applies to every sector of the job, every service of the job. कि choosy approach तो आज के era में बिल्कुल भी नहीं चलेगा. And vocational programming to be clubbed with regular degrees is the thought of the hour. Every educator and academician has to give a thought to it, and maybe these kind of series of webinars which we'll be conducting, हम इसका draft definitely एक बनाना चाहेंगे sir, and we'll be like to present it to all the government bodies. हम MHRD में इसको submit करेंगे. We'll be submitting it to the UGC and AICTE also, so that हमारा outcome इस particular webinar series से क्या निकला. So I also thank you all the audience. आप लोग ने समय निकाल के इस हमारे panel को सुना. You took out your time, and hopefully the panel was apt, and they gave you the right answers to the questions which you have raised. And at last, I would just like to say, just stay safe, stay home, stay connected, and stay tuned to the line of webinar series which we are coming till the end of August end. In the screen you can see this is the agenda of this event which we are going to conduct now. So after the engineering session on 4th of July, again we are meeting to discuss about the opportunities of the online courses over the regular courses. So जो आपने भी इस सेशन में जो बात की है, कहीं ना कहीं we'll be discussing the same opportunity over there. And then on 7th of July we will be talking about distance learning and MOOCs. जवाहर सर ने भी बात की MOOCs के बारे में. So in that special session we are having on MOOCs. Then entrepreneurship, skills and development. Most of the sessions topics we have kept understanding the need of the hour in the current era. तो लॉकडाउन से अनलॉक की तरफ हम लोग जो जा रहे हैं, आफ्टर द अनलॉक सिचुएशन आल्सो व्हाट विल बी द सिचुएशन एंड हाउ टू मेक एवरीबॉडी सो पॉजिटिव एंड काम्ड अप. कमांडर वीके जेटली सर, मैं एक मोटिवेशनल सेंटेंस या वर्ड के साथ सर अगर आप इस सेशन को क्लोज कर सकें, क्योंकि आई थिंक यू विल बी द बेस्ट वन, नॉट आई. So from my end, thank you so much for being a listener to over here. I welcome everybody and thank you everyone. But with a thank you note, sir, with a sentence or a line from your end.
To all the students who are listening to me, they say, सब लोग जानते हैं, attitude is very, very important. Despite all what is happening, COVID-19 हो, negativity हो, कुछ भी हो, उस सब के बावजूद आपको अपना attitude positive रखना है. They say it is your attitude and not your aptitude that decides your altitude. कि आप जिंदगी में कितनी बुलंदियों पर जाओगे वो आपकी ultimately attitude पर डिपेंड करता है. With that, thank you very much. Thank you. So I take leave. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.